Just a friendly reminder that the opinions expressed on this show are not worth a Canadian penny, so disregard anything you hear that might get anyone in trouble. And despite some of the great ideas you may hear, don't try them at home. Go to a friend's house instead.
It's time to get a gun. That's what I've been thinking. Well, I could afford one. And if I did just a little less drinking, time to put something between me and the sun. When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.
Hello and welcome to episode 179 of Slamfire Radio for November 4th, 2016. I'm one of your hosts, Kelly Lynn.
I'm another one, your host, Matthew McClatchy.
And I'm Adriel Michaud.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. Trevor's not here with us again.
Trevor is hurting.
Yeah, he did. I was going to say Dave wrote in another email, but he didn't. So.
Well, it's because Trevor's not here. Dave should have. That would have been perfect. Yeah, no, he really does hate you, Dave. He really does. Anytime you write in, he not here. Yeah, so if you could just keep writing in, Dave, it'd be great. Oh, did I say that? I thought my mic was muted. Sorry, Trevor, my bad.
Poor Trevor. He's hurting a little bit.
Yeah, he should be back next week, though, and it'll probably be a longer show.
Probably.
Yeah, because he'll have lots to catch up on, hopefully. He has been doing some stuff, maybe, if he can.
He hasn't really been doing shooting, though, has he?
No.
Oh, well. Anyway, speaking of
That's
shooting,
enough
Matthew,
about Trevor. Yeah, let's carry on.
What'd you do?
I didn't do anything.
Awesome.
It was awesome. I did not get a chance to go out and do my aerial hunting the way I wanted to because the weather crapped out on me. I was planning on doing it yesterday, then it rained. Then I was going to do it tonight before the show, and it rained. So now my next window of opportunity is Saturday. So maybe Saturday, if the weather holds. I don't know. We'll see. But related to that, I had a bit of a mid-YouTube channel crisis, if you will. I was sort of concerned that my gun viewers were getting irritated at my flying videos, and my flying viewers were getting irritated at my gun videos. And so I put up a video to the subscribers and basically asked them, should I split the channel? Am I irritating you people? Like, I don't want to irritate you if I don't have to. I can make another channel and put all my flying videos on that and just keep this gun channel. And so anyway, most of the replies were, either split or don't split, or I like them both, or I don't care, whatever. But this one, I have to share it because it was really cool. He writes, tough call. I'm a 300-hour private pilot building a Chinook, which is one of the planes I own, and I fall squarely on the flying side. But I'm also a big city liberal with distinct opinions about the proliferation of guns in our culture. Seeing you responsibly and respectfully handle firearms is a benefit to me, as it helps provide context to bridge the gap. The more I understand about that world, the better partner I can be as we all search for a scalable middle ground. I vote for keeping them together, and you investing that valuable time in creation of more content that we also enjoy.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was a really interesting comment. I mean, I guess it shows that some people out there, they need to see that you're into more than just that, and you've got other hobbies, and you're just a regular guy kind of a thing, right?
Yeah,
yep.
It was just really neat to see somebody from that other camp actually admit to learning something and being open-minded. I am so used to the other side being so closed-minded on this issue that to hear from somebody who's open-minded about it and who's willing to look at that content and go, oh, well, hold on a second, maybe it's not as bad as I think it is. It's it was just a real shot in the arm, I guess, for just for humanity, really, from my point of view. It's like, wow, look at that. The other side isn't completely messed up. There's hope for some of them yet. So, I don't know. I thought it was a cool comment, and I thought I'd share that with you guys. So, the consensus is, for anybody who cares, the channel's not splitting. It's going to stay the way it is, mostly because of that comment, and mostly because 90% of the rest of the comments also said, nah, forget about it. Don't split. It's fine. So, I wasn't really irritating people. I just thought I was. So, I'm just going to continue on with what I've been doing.
Awesome.
But that
I have
being
a-
said, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of the things that I think that maybe he was brought there because of your flying, and obviously he loves flying, and he saw the other videos too. I think that a lot of people, they're a little bit more open if you can share something in common with them. And
Right.
do you know what I mean?
I do, yes.
They're open to that. So you probably, he commented on it, but I think you actually have impacted a few more people that haven't commented as well.
And I think, the fact that both types of content are on the same channel kind of lets that happen. Had I split the channel right off the bat and never put any gun videos on my flying channel and vice versa, he never would have seen them, and he'd still be firmly entrenched in the other camp. So,
Yep.
yeah. So it just goes to show once again that it's a good thing to share your passion for firearms, because it does help promote a healthy outlook for other people who are viewing them, as long as you put out suitable content. It's important not to put out the times when you're being a dumbass, because that does happen as well. You can't win them all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyhow, yeah, that was kind of neat. And I did want to say that I do need to get a little bit back into the shooting side of my channel. So I don't know what I have planned yet, but I'm going to be planning something soon, more gun stuff on my channel. So YouTube subscribers to my channel, you can look forward to that hopefully soon.
Cool. Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, so anyway, that was me. So I guess that brings us to Trevor, who's not here. So it skips right over to Adriel.
Awesome. So I was out at the range on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. I shot my Tika, sighted it in. It was a little bit busy at the range. There's a lot of last minute hunters like me that
Waited to the last minute to get out there. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. At least I've got a good excuse, because I'm constantly going through rifles and that kind of thing. So, I can't just
It's not like it was sighted in from last year still. I mean, this is like brand new to you, so you kind of have to get out there and use it.
Yep. Yeah. I found it really likes this Hornady American. Oh, it's not Hornady American Hunter. Just a second. I got the box right here. Hornady American Whitetail. It's like deer bullets.
Well, it's got whitetail right on it. So what else are you going to shoot with it?
It's got the American flag. It's foil embossed, so it's all shiny. Yeah.
That adds 50 feet per second to your velocity, that shiny foil stuff.
Yeah. But aside from that, my Tika really liked it, and it's cheap, so I'll
even better. I love it when I find cheap ammo that my guns like.
Yeah. I bought 3 other boxes of ammo to try, and it really liked this stuff. So I'll run that. That's fine with me. I also shot the BRS 99. You mentioned you had some reliability issues with the one you had, right, Matthew?
The only issues that I had with it is it didn't always lock back on the last shot, and that was mag related. I didn't have any reliability issues, I don't think. I'm pretty sure that every time I pressed a trigger it went bang, and it never failed to feed or failed to eject. I think, it worked great. It was just every now and then it wouldn't lock back on the last shot, and it turned out it was just one of the magazines.
Yeah, no, this one worked 100% of reliability. It went bang every time you pull the trigger. The mags all fed really nicely. I did find that shooting with the irons, for the birds, shooting with a red dot, yeah, that's where I'm at with this thing.
I didn't mind the irons. I actually found them to be quite accurate. I was able to hit things that I didn't think I'd be able to hit with such a short sight radius and such crappy irons, but it seemed to work quite well for me.
How big was the distance? Sorry.
The sight radius is like 10 inches, if that.
How far were you hitting the stuff? Was it the stuff
150 meters. Same distance that I shoot my 22s at. Like, I went to that gravel pit, and I was doing the same thing with my 22s, picking off rocks across the gravel pit with it. I was hitting things that I just didn't think I'd be able to, but I could.
Surprisingly accurate. I didn't punch paper or anything like that, but I was just whacking a gong at 100 yards, and with that red dot, it was no problem. Just put it on the target and pull the trigger, and you're going to hit that gong.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of turned heads because right now it's we're gearing up for deer hunting season. The season starts. General season starts November here in Alberta. So everyone out there like sighting in their hunting rifles, and I've got this BRS 99 out there blinking away underneath. It's like, are you using that for hunting? I'm like, I guess I could. It's larger than 23 caliber and it's center fire. Yeah, I guess I could.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Yeah, I'm not going to use it. I'm not, but I could.
But you could. That's right, and that's the key there.
Yeah, no, it's a fun little gun. One issue I did have with it, the barrel shroud. I took it off and put it on again. I may not have torqued it down quite. I thought I torqued it down hard enough, but it's just got this one sleeve bit on the back of the barrel where it clamps in. And mine, I don't think it had been clamped in there quite tight enough, and it got a little bit forward. And I shot the end of this barrel shroud right off. It went like 30 meters down range.
I was just going to say, I bet you that went for a ride, didn't it?
Yep, yeah. I was surprised we found it, but no, as I shot it, I'm like, what that way? And my buddy was watching. He's like, I think that's a part of your bear shroud.
Oops.
But, oops. Yeah. Sorry, Tactical Imports. I'm gonna send this thing back with a real nicely worded sorry letter, I guess. On there.
You're gonna have to.
Yeah. I don't think it's an expensive thing. It's just like a tube with a couple nuts on it. But yeah, I'll just have to let them know I'm sorry.
Yep.
Also, while I was out at the range, I was shooting my FNS, and a while back, I got I think I got 5,000 of the Dominion Arms small rifle primers because Canada Ammo mentioned that they're basically the same thing as the small pistol primers. Now, through my MMP with reduced power, trigger, springs, and whatnot, it wasn't reliable. I'd get a failure, maybe 1 or 2 rounds a mag, which is way too much.
Yep.
But in the FNS, every time works no problem. It also works fine in my buddy's Shadow. So it's just it needs a little bit more oomph to go off. But the Dominion Arms primers are way cheaper. I think it was like 2.5 cents or something like that, whereas your regular stuff is 5 cents, 5.5 cents. I mean, it makes a difference if you're going to make like thousands of them, right?
Right.
So so they were 100% reliable in my FNS 9. I think I ran about 100 rounds, 0 failures. So I'm gonna make just a whack of those things over the winter. You're selecting the thing I'll talk about next year. I also bought a Beretta Brigadier. It's like a Beretta 96. It's in 40 Smith & Wesson. It's kind of like a more meaty version of their Beretta 92.
More meaty? That thing's the Beretta 92 is already freaking huge.
Well, I haven't got my hands on it just yet. I'm picking it up tonight. I just got the transfer notice through today, so I'll go snag it tonight here. And what else I do? I actually sold a couple of pistols too. I had an SR9 that I sold, and a Para that I sold. So just buying and selling a bunch of pistols.
Yeah, you're okay selling those. Nothing wrong with them, really. I mean, the SR9, I used to have one. It's a cool gun and all, but you've got the gun you need there, right?
Exactly. And when it comes to pistols, I compete with them at 3-gun, and I do nothing else. I don't roll into the range and be like, you know what would be really great is just to sit and shoot my pistol at 25 meters and punch some really small groups. That would just be it. That's like not an idea of a good time to me. My idea of a good time is like jumping through barrels and shooting stuff around corners and like action shooting with a pistol. Whereas with rifles, like, you know, I'll go hunting with them and I'll go to gravel pits and that kind of thing. And with shotguns, I'll bust clays, you know. So I don't really see the need of having like a whole pile of pistols. Again, that's just me though.
See, this is Trevor rolling over in his bed there, going, "Oh, what's going on? What are you doing?
Come on.
You need at least 4 polymer striker-fired pistols. Come on." They're not all the same.
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, you got a Beretta now, or you're getting one, right?
Yeah, tonight. Let's see. Oh, and I've been really Meat Eater came up on Netflix. I don't really watch a lot of hunting shows. I don't watch a lot of hunting shows because I don't really like to watch hunting shows. They talk so there's so much product pitch in them. They talk about whatever truck they're driving. It's like, I don't care. I don't care about your truck. Yeah, okay, it's a cheap truck here. Who cares? Or or they get just doesn't feel real. They get really nerved up about making the shot. They do the like cliffhanger stuff in between in the show. It's just all the bad tropes of TV, right? I don't have TV. I don't have TV because I hate watching cable TV. But I've been watching this Meteor on Netflix, and I really like it. The guy, I think he's the only guy that I know that it's like, oh, he's eaten more different kinds of meats than I have.
And you've been to some pretty far away places.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in China for 3 years, and I didn't say no to anything, so I ate a whole bunch of stuff there. But when he's talking about like, oh yeah, this time I had dog in Hanoi, and they did it like this, so this is how I'm going to do this coyote. It's like, this guy's on another level. yeah, but I've been really enjoying those, and that's I think that's it for me. I am gearing up to go hunting this weekend. I'm going to go. Take my boy and a buddy of mine, and we're going to go do a bit of just a little bit of hunting just on the weekend here. We're also going to do like a week-long hunt in the third week of November here, so
that's
we're
cool.
geared up. Yeah, that'll be for white-tailed deer, and then another one of my buddies has a moose and a mule deer draw. So if he gets a moose, we're gonna have a lot of work.
Yep.
Now, what area are you going to? Are you going north of you, or are you sticking around where you are?
No, I'm gonna go east of me. So I'm inside a city of right around 1 million people. So you gotta go a little ways before you get to where bunch of people, right?
Yeah, you're not hunting inside the city.
There's a WMU for a wildlife management unit for North Edmonton and for South Edmonton, and I guess there's a couple of places you can use bow. And they have like a really open draw, so you could go in there and nail a couple of whitetails. Now, you might be on the side of a highway or something like that, and there might be parents like driving their kids to school or something like that, and watching you like butcher a deer in a field. I don't know.
At the zoo.
And
at the zoo. Mommy.
Yeah, I thought it was a whitetail, but no, it turned out to be a giraffe. I don't know. Yeah. Honest mistake, really. No, but that's what I've been up to in guns. What about you, Kelly?
Nothing. Again, it's 4th week in a row I haven't gone to the range, so I did good. Why not? Again, it was really crappy weather on the weekend. It was raining and really cold, so we didn't go.
That's good reason.
Yep. We really have to go, though. I'm getting kind of anxious about it, so we'll go this weekend. It's supposed to be pretty nice. It's supposed to be actually sunny. A little cool, but sunny. But I did go to SFRC. I went there on Saturday. They had a 15% off sale. Woo!
Nice.
And I bought some stuff. It was all Christmas shopping, though. So it's not for me. It's for other people. And I can't say what I bought because, well, they're getting it. And they listen to the show. So.
Is it me?
Yes!
Yeah.
It's 1,000 rounds of 9mm. No, just kidding.
Oh, just trying to up Trevor, huh? Trying to be the most well-liked host on here.
Yeah, that's it. No, but yeah, so they had some great stuff in, and we're going to talk about some of the things that they had in what's new and improved.
Cool.
Yeah. So upcoming events. Let's see. Canadian Patriot Podcast and the International Liberty or Death Podcast. They're hosting the charity event at the Guelph Rod and Gum Club, and they're hosting it this weekend. So if you want to go out and support that because it's a really worthy cause. It's in regards to one of the family members of the hosts. She's recently passed from cancer, so it's a good cause to go. I know a few people that are going, and I was going to say, are you guys going? But you're not.
Nope. A little far away.
A little far.
Yeah.
It's even far for me to drive as well. So, and I'm in Ontario. The next one we have is from Rick Woods. It's the Active Killer Defense Course. It's going to be happening on December 4th, which is a Sunday, and it's going to be happening in London, Ontario. People can sign up at fireartsolutions.ca or activekillerdefense.com. And when you're typing in Active Killer Defense, defense is spelled the American way. And
Good to know.
yeah, and if you're interested in letting us know about any upcoming events, just email the show and we can actually put them in here for you too. So it's a good way to spread the word. News. I was going to say there's nothing new and approved, but apparently there are. Type 81.
Well, okay, so this thing was approved for sale in February, but there's something that just recently happened here. I'm still trying to track down the thread of where it happened, but apparently the timeline for these things to come in is just going to be over the winter.
Yep.
So they're coming in, they're being made in the factory, and they should be here in winter. So just for people who don't know, it's kind of like an SKS and an AK like got together and kissed and cuddled and kind of had a baby.
Huh.
It's like an SKS action with an AK magazine style, but not truly the AK mag. It's a little bit different. I believe that's because it does a bolt hold open, whereas the AK pattern mags don't do that.
Right.
Because why do you need that feature?
Right. Tactical Imports is bringing it in. They said around November-ish, or December-ish, they'd be bringing it in. And it's ugly. Trevor would hate it. Serious.
Yeah. Well,
I saw it at the Toronto show. Sorry. Go ahead.
To compete with the VZ58 and that kind of thing, right? Now, the one that was traveling on the show is not going to be the ones that, like, it's not going to be as similar to the ones that they're putting out, because the ones they're putting out are supposed to be new wood, new most other stuff, right?
It's supposed to be Parkerized, and the new wood. This one looked like it was in the jungles of someplace and got beat around and all that.
Jungles
but
of
you know
Vietnam.
Exactly. But it was cool. And yeah, you're right. SKS and an AK-47 kissed and cuddled, and they made this little thing. So
yeah, that's a neat rifle. I mean, if it gets to Canada here and it's $900-800, it's going to be really competitive with the VZ58s and the A58s and that kind of thing, because those guys. I think Wolverine Supplies is bringing in another shipment of those with a different style wood on them, and they're around. I want to say they're around $1,300. So
they were more than that. Tactical Imports was saying that they were going to be much more than that. So
the Type 81s.
Yeah.
The Type 81s are $999. They're just $1,000 for pre-order. So if you really want one, pre-order now, because. That price is probably going to change. But our dollar changed on the timeline that these guys got them in. So there's that to consider.
$1,000.
Yeah.
$999.
$999 for the low price.
Yeah. Okay. And then also Colt Canada MRR is out in stores now. Woohoo! You gonna buy one?
What's the MRR?
The MRR. The new it's like it's the like the
what now?
Rifle thing?
It's a rifle thingy. Yeah. It's
modern rifle radio.
Yeah,
no,
that's
special.
Different.
Did Bolivar have a hand in this thing?
No, and I thought he would be one of the ones to buy the first one, but he's not. So, anyways. It's in stock. It is the module rail rifle, and
there you go.
Yeah, so it's in stores now. It is a little bit more expensive than the Type 81. You're talking about close to $2,000.
And even more expensive than that.
Yep.
The Bushmaster ACR DMR designated marksman rifles. This is the longer barrel, heavier sniper-ish kind of ACR that's out there. This one's supposed to be more accurate. It's got a really cool buttstock on it that's like fully adjustable. So this is, again, like all your non-restricted semi-autos in Canada all have like an extra, I don't want to say tax, but they all cost quite a bit more. And this is one of those black rifles out there. So I think this is right around $3,400 that this thing's coming in at.
I'm thinking that we're giving them the cheap one, the middle-priced one, the more expensive one.
Kind of worked out like that, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we move on to main topics?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to fire out a bunch of stuff and see what sticks. How's that?
Sounds like fun.
Okay.
Yep.
So, funny, most interesting stories. What do you got? Adriel?
Yeah, I've got one. So we were going to a course with a couple of buddies of mine, and had all our guns in the car. We're driving out there. It's about a 45-minute drive. We've got lots of time. We're going to be there about 10 minutes early, and we're about 5 minutes away from the place. And my buddy's starts tapping his pockets and forgot his key to his case and to his rifles and pistol and all that stuff. So we had to.
Awesome.
So what you see with a lot of people who've been shooting a while is either they have multiple keys on them in a couple of different redundant places, or they run those cheapo little combo locks and they never have to carry keys at all. The trigger locks themselves you can break into with a screwdriver. The lock on an aluminum case is a little bit tougher.
It is, yep. We ended up breaking into somebody's trigger lock at the gun shoot that I was at 2 weekends ago because they forgot their key. Surprisingly easy to do. In fact, I've got a YouTube video on how to do it. It's not challenging, and it just goes to show that trigger locks are like any other lock, just there for the honest.
Yes. All you have to do is just pop them off, right?
Well, it does. There's a bit of a technique to it, but yeah, you can with a little precision screwdriver. You can get in there and just kind of pop them off. But yeah, locks on those aluminum cases, they're pretty hard to defeat.
Yeah. Well, if you're looking for those combo locks, I'm just on eBay right now. They've got the little 3-digit combo locks for travel luggage for $2.50 with shipping.
Nice. I need a bunch of those. I have 4 keys, I think, and that opens all of my locks. I have probably 24 locks, but I've managed to find keys that open multiple locks. So I've only got about 4 locks, and everything else is combinations, but I'd like to get rid of all of my keys and just go pure combination, because then you never forget your key. It's perfect.
Yep, that's all we do is pure combination.
Yep.
Oh, I found one for $1.90 with shipping.
Mind you, it opens with any combination. Doesn't matter. Just put in a combination and it'll open.
Okay, Matthew, have you ever had a story that you've been dying to tell that you haven't been able to tell? So now's your chance.
Well, I had a funny or interesting story at the gun range from a few years ago, and I think I told it back on CRR, but I'll repeat it again because my jaw just hit the floor, and I was like, what? It was just one of those moments where it's just like, I can't believe I just heard that. So I'm at the range, I'm shooting my .22, and there's this old guy shooting an old .38 Smith & Wesson revolver, something or other, just kind of popping away. His ammo sounds funny. There's a lot of smoke every now and then. Sometimes there's not so much. Some shots sound way louder than others, but whatever. He's having a good time shooting whatever ammo he can afford, I guess, whatever. So I'm shooting away, and I get a dud. And so I, take the dud .22 round out, and I'm going to throw it in the garbage, and he goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, what? He goes, I'll take that. I'm like, okay. So I give it to him, and I'm shooting away, and click, I get another dud. A little while, I was shooting some really cheap ammo, so I had a couple duds. And so, again, he's like, yeah, I'll take that. I'm like, okay. I'm like, what? Why? He goes, oh, well, 2 22s, when they're duds, you take the powder out, it's perfect load for .38 Smith & Wesson. I was like,
well, that guy, he knows when to see a bargain, eh?
I now understand why your ammo sounds different sometimes, because you're just putting in there whatever you find on the ground, aren't you?
It doesn't matter which brand it is.
It was just like, come on, seriously? I can't believe you have all your fingers. But anyway, that's what he was doing. He would take dud .22s, and 2 of them would go into the case of a .38, and off he'd go.
Reload and read it at the range.
Well, no, he wouldn't do it right there, but he'd take it home, and he'd do it when he got home and reload it and bring it back and shoot it. But yeah, good times.
Okay, what about your best shot, Matthew? What do you got?
Oh, I've got so many. I don't know where to begin. Well, I've got a couple. I mean, my favorite all-time shot that is just one of those where I just can't tell the story because nobody believes me. It's the one I told a couple weeks ago or a month ago where I shot the wings off the fly while it was flying. Yeah. I mean, that's just like, that's an amazing, astoundingly lucky shot. I mean, yes, I'll admit there's a little bit of skill involved. I knew where to aim, how to aim, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't know I was going to shoot the wings off the darn thing. But, I mean, that was cool. But I think one of my favorite shots that I've pulled off where I've had witnesses, because I've pulled off quite a few where I haven't had witnesses. And again, nobody believes me. It's the big fish story. But when I was out hunting with Trevor and he flushed a grouse and it was coming basically right at me. And I just snapshot it out of the air. It was just like I saw him for maybe a half second. And the gun came up, safety came off, bang, and I blew him out of the sky. So that was my favorite shot, mostly because people witnessed it. Because otherwise, what's the point? Another one, we had put a clay downrange at this range where I was shooting. And I'll leave the names out of it to protect the innocent because we may or may not have been shooting at 100 yards with our pistols when we weren't supposed to. But we were doing it ignorantly. We didn't know that we couldn't. This was like way back before, when I started getting back into guns, like even before I met Trevor. This was long ago. Anyhow, we were shooting at 100 yards with our pistols, and I put a clay target up on the berm. And I'm like, watch this, and pulled my handgun out, and one-handed shot it and shattered it, one at 100 yards. And they were like, whoa, do that again. And I was like, I unloaded my gun, put it away. I'm done for the day, boys. I'm not doing that again because I know I can't.
You leave it on a good note.
Yep. And I guess the last one, Trevor can attest to this when he was a witness to it. One-handed clay out of the air with a shotgun.
Serious?
Yeah, that was fun. So I believe the words "I love you" left his lips shortly after that. But
awesome.
Yeah, those are some of my more memorable shots that I enjoyed making and actually being successful on.
The fly. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask about the fly story. Like, all right, when you saw the fly, were you tracking it like you were tracking, geese for hunting?
Yes. I saw the fly. I honed in on it. I aimed at the fly with the intention of shooting the fly out of the air. That's, I just like anything else. I just brought the gun up, hey, and then bang, and the fly just kind of spiraled down into the water. I mean, my jaw hit the floor too, but I just made sure nobody saw it. I'm like, yeah, I meant to do that. And then, of course, a few minutes later, I managed to actually blast a fly completely out of the air. Like, I did it a second time. This time I didn't shoot the wings off it, though. I just actually completely connected with it and completely vaporized it. But, yeah, I mean, the first time it was like only one person was watching, just my nephew, Liam. He's like, oh, no way. I can't believe you did that. And then now Curtis and my other nephew, Chris, were both watching. I'm like, I got to do it again. And this is the one time where I managed to actually pull it off a second time.
Awesome.
Yeah, what about you? You got any cool shots that you've made that you're proud of that you want to talk about?
Cool shots? Well, one of the probably most interesting or funny or maybe coolest was Kevin and I went to the range one day and we were just doing different things for fun. We were shooting all kinds of different things, and I had some almonds on the table. Did I tell you guys this story?
This does not sound familiar to me so far.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to this.
Okay, so we took an almond. You know how big an almond is, right?
Not very.
Not very big. So he took an almond and he stapled it to the target for him, and he took an almond and he stapled it to the target for me. Anyways, and he goes, well, it's the almond challenge. First one to shoot the almond and, basically get rid of the almond wins. So we go back and we're at I think it was 30 yards, and we were using 10-22. So I took one shot. I missed. I was about an inch to the right. So I adjusted, and my next shot, almond was gone. Anyways.
Nice.
So he got down on the mat, and he started shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting. He emptied a box of ammo, and and I was texting Brian and taking pictures, Brian Bolivar, and all that. And this is actually just after just after we got back from Appleseed the first time. So I was really excited about the fact that it only took me 2 shots, and yeah, so I won the almond challenge.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it was funny. The other thing is, again, it's something that I'm proud of because of the fact that I went from being a terrible shot to being not so bad shot. A year ago, we went to the Brockville Range, and a bunch of us had a fun shoot, and it was the older guys there. And again, it was 10.22s, and I didn't place all that great. It was a fun shoot from, we were standing seated and shooting from the 50-yard as well. So I placed probably about, I don't know, 15th out of 20 guys. Anyways, this year I went and did the same shoot. It was in the springtime, and I placed 3rd. And everybody was excited about who was going to be first, who was going to be second. And the older guys, they were so cute because they were trying to help me with my shooting and that. And I said, no, it's okay, I can do it. And then they found out that I placed 3rd, so they weren't giving me any more tips.
It's funny how the help goes away once you start beating the guys.
I know. So they were kind of surprised, but they were also, that's pretty cool. And I said, yep, not a bad shot.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, Adriel, what about you?
Let's see. Well, I mean, I think probably the one that's the standout is shooting a couple deer at 650 yards. That's pretty much all I got. It's just those. My other buddy was hungover and decided to sleep in, and so I went out on the field and there were those deers at long range. Glassed them, lazed them, and got a really good rest, and took them both out. This was a couple years ago when there was you could get multiple tickets or licenses for deer, kind of a thing, right?
What was the distance again?
650 yards.
Nice.
That's nice.
That's cool.
It was long enough where I could shoot, bring the scope back down, and see the deer drop from the shot.
I love doing that. I mean, I haven't shot that distance with centerfire, but I've shot, I guess not even the equivalent distance, but I've shot 300 yards with my 22, and sort of the same thing. It's like bang, and then you see the gong move, and then you hear it, ding, and then it's just it's really neat whenever you can sort of. I mean, most people think of guns as you shoot and it's instantaneous because our brains just can't process how fast it happens. But whenever you shoot long range like that, you really get an appreciation for, well, these things really aren't instantaneous. There's time that passes when you press a trigger and until the bullet hits where it's going to hit. It's just kind of cool.
Yep. You can see the trajectory and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch the vapor trails on them.
Yep. Yeah. Maybe with this question, it can be it's 2 questions, but it can be also the same question all at once. What's the tallest tale you've heard at the gun store, or maybe the dumbest advice you've ever gotten or heard?
The dumbest advice, one of that's got to be top 10 anyway, is the old, you don't need a handgun, all you need is a shotgun in your house, you just rack that slide and everybody's going to go running. I've literally heard that firsthand from somebody. It's like, I've seen that on CGN and other gun forums and stuff, and people always talk about it, but I've actually literally heard that come out of somebody's mouth, and I just stopped and really? Yeah.
All right. What about?
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what else?
Nothing else comes to mind off the top of my head. I should have written some stuff down because I know there's some pretty dumb stories I've heard. I've walked away. I guess this one may have been mentioned on the show. I don't remember. It was when I was over in Maine dropping Tommy off back at the airport. Missed his flight, or the flight was delayed, I guess, and so we went to the local gun store because we had nothing else to do. And maybe it wasn't Tommy. Maybe it was
Daniel.
Maybe it was Daniel. No, I think it was Tommy. I think I just told Daniel. Anyway, we were there, and this guy comes in, and he was picking up a new gun he had just ordered. They had ordered it in for him, and he picked it up, and he was sort of bragging about it to the counter staff there, and goes, yeah, this is a 76.2 by 39. A 76.2. Oh, yeah? Cool. Can I see the bullets for that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the one I hear a lot is people just mentioning how flat a rifle is, but they'll compare it to something that's very similar. So like a 300 Win Mag compared with a 7mm Rem Mag. Yes, the 7mm Rem Mag is a touch flatter over, let's say, like 300-400 yards kind of a thing. But the difference is way less than people attribute it to. Some people say, oh, yeah, I sight my rifle in for, 0 at 200 and it's good to 400 yards. No, it's not. It's not good to 400 yards. At 400 yards, you're dropping enough to where you're getting outside that kill zone on a deer, right? So, a lot of people just prescribe these magical quantities. They, you just have to endure the kick of a 300 Win Mag, and then the flatness is taken care of. No, it's not. You're just you're still hitting low. You still have to know your distances, and you still have to know your drops on your rifle if you're going to be shooting long distance, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right.
What about you, Kelly? Have you heard any whoppers?
Whoppers? No, but probably the dumbest advice I ever got was to buy that Beretta.
Which Beretta?
The PX4.
Why'd they tell you to buy that?
Well, I liked it, and it was shiny. It was my first pistol. It was dumb. And then, I brought that one to the charity shoot in New Brunswick, and it didn't go well. And then I went home and got a Glock.
There you go. That's the way to do that right there.
Yeah. Okay, so I actually changed this just a little bit, so we can add to it. Most satisfying argument you have won with any ante or even a FUD.
Or even a FUD. Well, I've got two on this. One was with my mom.
Aww.
Yeah.
Is she the FUD?
No. She's an auntie. She was an auntie. She's not anymore. But this was back. This is the turning point from her going completely anti-gun to, oh, hold on a second. Maybe I need to rethink this. We were driving in the car and we were talking. I don't remember what it was about. I don't remember how it came up, but guns came up. And she's always been against me being involved with guns. Like when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to make my fingers into the L shape and make it like a gun and make gun noises. Like I was not allowed to play guns at all. That backfired, apparently. Yeah. Anyhow, so we were talking about something and she's like, so you think the solution is just to give everybody a gun and then the crime rates will go down? And I said, yeah. She goes, how? Like what? Come on, seriously. Give me a good reason, give me a valid reason why this is a good idea. And it was just the really simple, well, the good guys that have the guns aren't going to do anything bad with them. And the bad guys already have the guns. So instead of taking the guns away from the good guys, who aren't going to do anything bad with them anyway, you allow them to be protected against those who have the guns illegally and who are going to have them anyway. You can't take them away from the people who won't obey the law. It was just, it wasn't much longer than that. It was just a really simple sentence with that sort of information in it. And she just sort of stopped and it was just kind of, you could just see the gears turning in her head. And she's like, oh. Yeah, no, when you put it that way, I guess that sort of makes sense. And from then on out, she started to switch over, and now she's completely fine with firearms and thinks that, it's a great pastime, it's a great hobby. Good people should not be banned from having them. I mean, there's nothing wrong with guns. The problem is people. It's not guns. So it was a huge victory for me because my entire life I've sort of understood this concept and could not believe, my parents just didn't get that. No fault of theirs. I mean, they, just like everybody else in Canada, are subject to CBC and what they say on there, and their parents were probably anti-gun as well, and both of my grandfathers fought in the war, and so they would have negative connotations for firearms in that regard and whatnot. So, I don't blame them. I don't think they're dumb or anything. It's just that, misinformed and just sort of followed with what the common ideas at the time were. But it was really nice to see them sort of take notice that, okay, hold on, maybe I can rethink this, and maybe I can, maybe this isn't such a bad thing after all. So that was that was a cool one. And then the second one was with a coworker. Actually, it actually happened twice, but I'll combine the incidents and make it into one instance because it's just easier that way. But talking to a couple coworkers and they asked me, what had you been doing on the weekend? And so I said, I was out hunting. And one of them just jaw dropped, eyes opened up. Killing? Like, that's all she said. She just said that one word, killing, and looked at me like I was some murderer for even suggesting that I would be out in the woods with a gun going after poor little Bambi and Thumper. And I looked at them, and I looked at what they were eating, and then I just looked back at them. They were having like a roast beef sandwich or something. And I just looked at their food, and then looked back at them, and they looked down at their food, looked back up at me, never said another word. It was just, yeah, no, It's, you know what? If you're going to eat meat, your argument is invalid. I'm sorry. Whether you are the person that's killing your food or whether you pay somebody to kill your food for you, food is dying. And that's okay because it's delicious.
Salad.
So anyway, those were my two most satisfying discussions with the other side where I sort of got the upper hand and was able to point out the error of their ways. What about you guys?
Adrian, what about you?
Oh, pretty much every time it's after the range trip.
Right.
I mean, you can argue with a lot of people, and some people are receptive to it. Friends and family, they'll be a little bit more likely to give you the benefit of the doubt and think constructively about your viewpoints. But for a lot of people, gun ownership is a really personal thing to them, and they're either like really for it or really against it.
Yeah.
And I've found that taking people out to the range is a fantastic way to take people who are either neutral or against it and move them over to for or at least neutral about it, right? So I've had vegetarians who aren't into guns at all and are on the passive side of things and don't think anyone should own guns, come away from a range session and be like, boy, I don't think I'm going to buy a gun, but I can see the allure. I can see why you like it. And they know more about it, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, you can argue till you're blue in the face with someone who's of that mindset, of the mindset that, we don't need guns, and you can have internet arguments with people and, cite all your references and all that kind of stuff. Or you can take them out to the range. And I found that one to just be like 100% reliable with the people I've taken out. With the people who have been like, yeah, I'd go to the range. I don't think I know enough about this. I think I'd be willing to give it a shot. And show them that they can go to the range and have a safe, fun time. They can learn a little bit. Oh, I thought AR-15s would be way more powerful than a hunting rifle. Nope.
Yeah.
You got that one squashed, right? Oh, I thought shooting pistols was easy, and
nope.
I thought I could shoot stuff at 50 yards just by pointing at it. It's like, well, nope, unless you're one of those beginner's luck kind of a things. I've had people out like that, where they've never touched a pistol and they can just pound steel at 50 yards when they just pick one up. But
irritating, isn't it?
Very irritating. But I've found those range trips to be so good, and that's why I try to take people out to the range. It's I go get some like the cheapest bullets possible, and I let some people shoot some guns that are mine that are going to get shot anyways. And they learn something, and we get some pros and we get some neutrals instead of some negatives and some neutrals, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I concur.
Right. What about you, Kelly?
I think one of the things is I told you guys probably about a month or two ago about the ladies from work who were very anti-gun, and we went out for a walk, and by the time we were done, they thought it was pretty cool that I go out and shoot, and. Mm-hmm. And they're interested in coming along. We take a lot of people from work, and yeah, it's fun, especially the ladies. And the ladies are now asking to go too. I have another girl I work with, and she's quite young. She's about 22, 23, and she goes, "Can I go to the range and with you?" And I said, "Yep, just pick a time and we'll go." So I think she's going to come out with me in the next little while. But what it is just, learning a little bit more, making it fun, and having something in common with somebody, basically, and taking people to the range. The other side of it is from the FUD point of view, from a lady's point of view. finding it that women can actually shoot and we're not afraid. I had some conversations with some guys, and they thought that all we really could or wanted to shoot were 22s and 22 handguns as well. No, that's not what we want to shoot. We want to shoot the AR-15s and all that, and we want to shoot trap, and we want to shoot all the stuff. And you know what? Once they realize that we're not afraid of them, then that's really cool for them too. So
don't forget the 50s.
Yeah, and don't forget the 50s. Yeah. I got pictures. So yeah, we're okay with actually, not being coddled, but at the same time, I've also seen guys give somebody, a 308 and just say, here, hold it like this, or you know what I mean? Don't do that either. So anyways, that's it.
That's cool.
All right. Law enforcement. Have you guys actually had any interactions with law enforcement, and what had they been like? What was like the best one? Or
I've had several. Nothing. It's like where I've been doing anything wrong and they've showed up. It's not like I've ever had the cops called on me because I've been out shooting and they showed up and guns drawn, but I've always just sort of managed to run into them. Most recently at the school.
Coffee shops? Oh.
No, not at coffee shops, I don't think. But most recently at the school, our local police force used to carry the Smith & Wesson Sigma. Terrible gun. But regardless, that's what they used to carry. And we had the school or the city liaison, I can never say that right, officer. And he's the guy that kind of goes school to school and just kind of is the go-between the school and the police force and whatnot, just kind of keeping the channels of communication open and things. Anyway, he was there chatting with somebody, and I noticed that he was carrying a Glock. And I was like, you guys are carrying Glocks now? Right in the middle of the crowded lobby, right in the middle of school. Like, he just kind of looked up and, oh, yeah, no, yeah, it's the Glock 22 and blah, blah, blah. We had a big gun discussion right there in the lobby of the school. The principal standing there, and there's other teachers and students are milling around. He didn't care. I didn't care. Nobody cared. We just had a nice, good gun conversation right there in the middle of the lobby. So... that was just kind of funny. I guess another one where I ran into some game wardens. We call them forest rangers out here in New Brunswick, but I figured game warden would be the word that everybody would understand. Curtis and I were out bombing around in the four-wheelers, and we didn't have our helmets on because we were on my parents' property. And on private property, you don't have to wear your helmet. That's the way it works. And they were there specifically looking for people not wearing their helmets. And so, we stopped and we were chatting with them. They're like, where's your helmets? We're like, well, we don't have them on because we're on private property. Oh, private property? I'm like, yeah, but it's okay. You guys can stay on here and find other people who are... I just sort of gave them permission to kind of be on the property. Whether they needed it or not, I don't know. But I thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, while we were standing there chatting, a moose wanders out with a broken leg. And all they had with them were their sidearms. They didn't have a shotgun or a rifle with them. And so one of the guys got out with his handgun and shot the moose in the face. Put it down. So it was kind of neat. He was, 25, 30 yards away. So it was just kind of neat to see a game warden actually doing his job with the tools he had with him. And it was completely ethical. Like, it was a perfect, well-placed shot. Shot him right between, it wasn't right between the eyes. It was sort of just under the ear. But, shot him right in the head, right in the brain pan, right where he needed to, and the moose just dropped like a sack of potatoes, didn't feel a thing. But it was just, kind of cool to see them in action.
Did you get mistake?
No. It was in the middle of summer. We went over and looked at it. It was just crawling with ticks, and it was all mangy, and it was not a good-looking moose. So we decided to just let it lie. But, yeah.
Okay. What about you, Adriel?
I haven't really had that many interactions with law enforcement. I've never run across a DNR officer or a colloquial fish cop out hunting. I've never run across one. Let's see. I've hunted with some cops, and I mean surprisingly they're just regular people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, no. I mean, a lot of people say, like, oh, if you get pulled over, do you say if you've got guns in the car or not? Do you like self-proclaim that? And like, I've never even had the opportunity, so I don't even know which one I would do. Because I've just it's never come up. I mean, here in Edmonton, most of the cops are busy dealing with, gangs and drunks and people on drugs and that kind of thing. So they don't have time to hassle you. In the small towns, the officers there do have time to hassle you, but mostly they're looking for speeders and that kind of thing. So just don't speed and you'll never have to deal with it. I don't know. I mean, that
sort of makes sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that I can spend most days without having to deal with law enforcement, because the day I do is probably because it's going to be a bad day for me, right? So
yeah.
Whether it's something that happens to me or, I do something stupid, I don't know.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. I'm hoping not for that one. But
we all know that, just because you haven't broken any laws doesn't mean they're not going to try to make your day bad just because they don't like what you're doing or whatever.
Yeah, they see that BRS 99 and they're like, That's not legal. Why are you hunting deer with an Uzi? This is a slam dunk case, right?
Yep.
And you educate them saying, this is a Canadian Uzi.
That's right.
This Polish Uzi is fine to use in Canada to hunt deer. Yeah. That's not a silencer. These cuffs are way too tight. Where are we going now?
Where are we going now?
Can I call my wife?
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. I haven't had any interactions either, other than at the border. And at the border, they're usually saying, what do you got in the car? And other than that, hey, have you tried mine? And we really hate ours. Like,
oh yeah,
ooh, yeah. And so it's basically that conversation. They're excited about what we have, like whether it's the Glock or whether it's the M&P or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's
something
not
without a 12-pound trigger.
Exactly. Have you ever tried ours? And we're going, no, your trigger pull sucks. That's why. Anyways, yeah. So no, it's been pretty cool. So.
Yeah, the border one reminded me of one where this was quite a few years ago, over a decade ago, over 2 decades ago probably. Back the first time or the second time I lived in New Brunswick, we used to cross the border regularly to get gas.
Mm-hmm.
It's just cheaper over there. We live right on the border. We'd go over for gas and milk like almost on a daily basis. To the point where I'd roll up to the border, they'd see who I was, and they would just wave me through. This was pre 9/11, so there was, they was like, oh, hey, Matt, gas and milk? Yep, see you when you get back, kind of deal, right? So I'm pulling up to the border, and this was a bigger border crossing, not one that I was normally at, so they wouldn't have known me. And I pulled up, and as I was in line, and now it's too late to turn around because it would be super obvious, I remember that I've got my shotgun and .22 in the trunk.
Oops.
Because I had been hunting the day before or earlier that day or whatever. And I'm like, oops, oh well, no big deal. I'll just tell the guy when I get there. So I get to the border. I'm like, yep, just, he's like, where are you going? I said, back to Canada. He goes, oh? I said, yeah, I forgot I left a couple guns in the trunk. And he just kind of put his head up against the wall. He's like, oh. He goes, this isn't what we normally do, but just turn around, take him out, come back later. I'm like, okay. I guess technically he was supposed to do something else. I don't know. So I turned around and got into the line to go back across the border into Canada because, once you get into the States, like once you talk to the American Guard, you're in America. So you got to go back through the Canadian side. So right. I pulled up to the window and the lady, as soon as I saw it was a lady, I was like, uh-oh, because I've heard stories. And I pull up to the window and she goes, how long were you in the U.S.? Oh, about 45 seconds. She just looked up at me, huh? Yeah, I forgot I got a couple guns in the trunk. What? She sort of like, you could see her hands like all kind of getting all nervous, like she was ready to, I didn't know what she was ready to do. Yeah, this is before they carried guns, so I knew I wasn't going to get shot anyway. But she's like, what do you mean you got guns? I'm like, I was hunting earlier. I came across to get gas. I forgot to take them out. Well, what kind of guns are they? Well, one's a single shot 12 gauge. And the other one's a 22. Oh, is that it? That's it. Okay. Off you go.
Off you go.
They didn't even check. They didn't even pull me into secondary and pop the trunk to see what I had. She's just like, okay, off you go. I'm like, all right.
Because if you look like Opie, nobody's going to... You do, you know that.
Sure. That's
You're
cool.
sweet innocent. Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
Lots of good times.
All right. Okay, why don't we get on to listener feedback?
Sure.
All right. And I'm not reading this one.
Give it to Adriel. We haven't heard from him
Adriel.
enough yet.
I know. Adriel, it's for you.
All right, from James B. Since Trevor didn't bring it up, and because he wasn't there for the last show, and Matt was, and never talked about it, and he beat Trevor too. Na boo boo, stick your head in doo doo, Trevor. Na boo boo, I beat you. Dear listeners, he will use any excuse in the book why he lost. First of all, some lame surgery on a wrist. I think he told me he missed a stroke. What he might not tell you is that is the hours of dry fire practice he did leading up to the event, which was canceled, but a load of people showed up. Weekend practice was not easy, especially when your dominant hand is useless. He did great with what he had. Great setup for inside. The shoot was a great man versus man, not man on man, Matt.
I keep getting that wrong. My bad. All right, guys, it's time for the man on man. And they're like, what? Matt, it's man versus... Oh, yeah, my bad.
That's a bad one to mistake. Matt, you scare me sometimes.
I scare myself.
The small 3-gun was fun. Can't wait to do another. Would have finished higher if the Benelli Super Black Eagle 2 would have closed on battery on the 5th shot. It was open enough that when I pulled the trigger, nothing happened. AR skills jumped in. Wish they hadn't. I racked it. The 5th shell flew out and had to do a reload. I think I could have hit the bolt forward and maybe bang. Lessons learned. Another thing I learned, screw 1911 in 45. Not good for competing. Going to stick with the Tangfoglio, a real gun. Got a RO a few guys, some worse than others, but holy cow, there was a pile of misses. A few guys went through some money. Frosty, glad you were not there to see your demise. I would say 19-plus gun salute with just under 500 rounds. The most expensive send-off I've seen. On a side note, the tannerite was not mixed well enough for a boom.
It wasn't tannerite. It was shockwave.
Can I say this next part?
I don't know. I'm not looking at it.
Sure you can.
Go for it, and I'll
Okay.
bleep it if I have to.
All right. Remember, keep your dick in a vice.
It's stick
Trevor.
on the ice. Stick on the ice.
The autocorrect right there. Yeah.
Gotta be.
P.S. Trevor, put my number on speed dial. I'll drive up to defend what I'm saying. You're going down. Bring better guns and a life coach. P.P.S. Need to
Hey,
borrow
I'm
a
his
shotgun.
life coach. Sorry, what's the PPS?
Need to borrow a shotgun. Sold the Benelli Super Black Eagle 2. Too many jams. I'm not kidding. It's sold. What do you think a real 3-gun shotgun, gas-driven, or another inertial-driven Benelli? M4, M1, Beretta A400, Mooseburger. What do you think? My buddy really likes his Beretta 1301 competition. That's low cost. It's right around, I think he paid like $1,300, somewhere around there. It's gas-driven. It's fast. And after the initial break-in, it's been flawless for him. So I think if I had to buy something and I was on like that right around $1,000 budget, I'd buy that. If I had unlimited money, I'd probably go Benelli M2 with a whole pile of mods on it. That seems to be the 3-gun to beat. And if I was on a super budget, I'd have the gun I have right now, maybe like a Stoeger 3500.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
but I mean, I've seen a lot of guys run the Mossberg 930 JM, and to varying degrees of success. Some of them it's flawless, and some of them it's not flawless. So I mean, there's a lot of choice out there. I wouldn't go with the M4. It's kind of heavy. It's expensive. It's reliable though. And the Beretta A400 is very similar to the 1301 competition, but the 1301 kind of comes all kitted out for 3 guns, so it's good for that. And it still works for ducks and that kind of thing because it comes with interchangeable chokes.
Cool.
All right. So if you have any emails that you would like to send us, just like James B. did, and you can actually insult Trevor as well, is send it to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Or if you actually have any stories that are pretty good too, whether it's interactions with law enforcement, or you want to actually talk about bragging about your best shot, maybe you also shot the wings off of a fly, then you can send it to us as well.
Oh, one more shotgun I forgot to mention to James, the Versamax. The Versamax is another really popular option out there. Again, gas-driven, but I think Cabela's had the not the Sportsman. The Sportsman's like the cheaper version. They've got a better version out there, and my buddy got one for somewhere around $1,000. That's another good option out there, but it requires modification. It's not ready for competition right off the bat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matt, can you see the iTunes review?
I can.
Can you read it for us, please?
I can. All right, this comes to us from Tyler JPM from the United States. So, sort of a foreign country, but not really. He gave us a 5-star rating, and the title is, It's Okay, I guess. The review reads, It could use some more SKS discussion. Otherwise, it's an alright show if you've already burned through all of your other podcasts.
Nice.
I love it. That's hilarious. That's fantastic. Thank you, Tyler JPM.
Yeah. All right, so we have, let's see, for 5-star ratings, we have 144 5-star ratings. So 110 from Canada, 30 from the US, 1 from Australia, 1 from the UK, 1 from Lithuania, and 1 from Belgium. So if you would like to send us an iTunes review, that would be amazing, because the more we have, the more that we get actually noticed. And then the more we get noticed, the more that we can actually, well, what can we do? I don't know.
Ruin more people's days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, send us an iTunes review, and we hopefully will not, send any viruses to your computers or anything like that. So,
probably. We make no promises.
Right. Okay. Shout-outs? Anybody got any?
Nope.
Adriel?
No.
Okay. I do have one. I just wanted to say that I'm sorry, Kevin. I didn't mean to tell everybody that I was a better shot than you. I'm not a better shot than you. You are a better shot than I am. Okay.
And with that out of the way.
Patreon supporters, we don't have any new ones for this week, but that's okay because we have some amazing ones. Colin H., Dave Z or Z, it depends on if you're from the States or Canada, Mr. Uzi, who is also Thomas B., Morgan S., Jason P., Dalton H., Jonathan S., Tyler A., Richard D., Rob B., Thomas S., Chad G., Kevin L., Ryan B., Adrian R., Mike R., Mark P., Justin D., Miss Stacy, Spencer C., Byron A., and James B. Now, you guys, thanks for actually supporting us. We'll have some new content coming up in the next little while. Yeah. Right, Adriel?
Yep.
Okay. Send us a note about that. Just, I need to know.
I'll forget. I've already forgotten.
That was just my reminder to Adriel to send us a note. Anyways, okay. So with that in mind, make sure that you go out and join one of the advocacy groups that we have in Canada, the CCFR, the CSSA, or the NFA, or anybody else. As long as you're joining those groups, they're supporting us, so why don't you support them? Go out and also see us on Gun Owners of Canada. We have a thread there. You can actually make comments and communicate with us there as well. I did actually check the likes for today on Facebook. We're at 1,547 likes. We have 116 thumbs up, 26 gold stars and counting, 2 flukes, 4 manatee flippers, 2 kangaroo thumbs, 1 safe space, 1 HK logo, 2 hobbit thumbs, 5 duckbills, 2 squirrel nuts, 2 honks, 2 1911 triggers, an ace of spades, a cartridge in a pear tree, and a pheasant in a pine tree. Wow. And we didn't get anything this week, so that was kind of disappointing, actually.
Yeah, we need to add to the list, don't we?
Yeah. Oh, anyways. Okay. Other than that, you guys got anything else to say? Words of wisdom to close out the show with?
Nope.
Awesome.
30-06 is all you need for hunting?
There you go. That's a good word of wisdom.
Yeah.
I don't even believe it, but I'll say it anyways.
The worst advice. Anyway, okay. All right. And Trevor, I hope you're feeling better and you're back next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
So if you have any comments or questions for the show, please send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Now go grab a gun and shoot something.
When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.
Yep.
North Dakota. Not Fargo.
Fargo. That's such an awesome movie.
That was awesome. That was one of my favorite movies ever. Especially the wood chipper scene.
The what?
Wood chipper scene.
The wood
the end.
chipper scene. Yes, that was funny.
Yes. It was good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it was great, eh? Oh, yeah. No, it was like my favorite movie.
Chip them right up, don't you know?
We should do the whole show in that accent. Oh, hi. Welcome to episode 179, eh? It's Slamfire Radio, don't you know?
Yeah.
A shout out to Fargo.